Morning all. Okay, let's try the 15-minute auto pairing. What's my current 15-minute rating? Or should we just go and have a look at a title play game while we're waiting? So I'm currently 2-1-3-2, and I reached the max rating I ever had at 2-1-5-9 yesterday. That's my peak on the 15-minute. So we'll rank title players. Who T. Give you a list of title players. We can go and watch. I think Malibu is playing against Yardbird. Good old Yardbird. Yardbird seems to be a bishop up. So it's a 5-minute game. Bishop up. No, he's not. Material evaluation function gone wrong. Nope. It's actually okay. Rook and bishop each. Yep. Okay, but Malby is down to 16 seconds on this 5-minute. How did that happen? He's going to lose on time. Ah, yes, winning king and pawn ending. Outside, past a pawns quick. That was a nice game by Yardbird. Let's have a look at this game. Seems to be a big positional advantage of some sort. Knight f3, the dreaded knight f3 after d4. Zwingian type position. Not minding double pawns. Alright, queen e4. Not minding double pawns. There. So we've got two sets of double pawns. And that was snatching a pawn, that rook a5. Undoubling one set of pawns. But c-file pressure. Okay, so black's still a pawn up here. But there's pressure now on the h-file as well. King coming to b4, that's very nice. So that a4 pawn is loose. Now h6 again targeted, and transposing into winning king and pawn ending. Good old Yardbird. Okay, we got a game. Okay, achu. So I think I've been killed by achu before. I seem to remember. Whoops. Uh-oh. How's he been doing? Wins and losses, but I remember, was it achu I was killed by? Oh well, whatever happens, you know. Right. So I'm hoping this will be dangerous, this position, this setup. If I play for bishop e3 and d4, or maybe, maybe that's the plan here. Just play for d4. Or queen d2 f5. If I play for f5, because I think f5 from black, this bishop's quite nice actually, pointing at e6. Okay, so let's test this. Will black actually play f5? There might be knight g5 there. I'm not sure what happened in my previous encounters. If I do a search, KingsCrusher, achu. Ah, okay. Okay, knight g5 here looks good anyway. Knight d4, I suppose. Maybe I can just take. Or knight e2. Knight e2, knight d4, knight e2. Because he's protecting e6 with knight d4, and if it takes, then it's check, bishop d4 check. So, okay. Whoa. Okay, is that e5 here? Bishop takes c5 or not yet? I don't know. e5 is kind of tempting to play bishop takes c5, but what would happen after that? Maybe I'll have frontal pressure on the e file, so maybe it's worth doing that. Try that, sort of disrupting black's pawn structure a bit. Is it worth taking that to get some pressure here as well? So if I play for bishop takes c5 and rook ae1, should have frontal pressure on the e6 pawn. It seems to be a very pleasant position, coordinating bishop, knight and a rook. So rook ae1, even here maybe, might be tasty if I go here. And this is a horrible Zwischen, I hope not. So I'll be on g5 with my queen, as well as e6 with the bishop and rook. I love this bishop actually on a2. So refusal to move the knight back, just hitting this knight on e5 instead. In fact, knight ec6, what about d4? That might be pushing it. Knight e4 takes. Forcing move, knight e4. Knight c e4 takes. Bishop d7. Knight d5 is not exactly on the cards as a forcing move. Bishop e7 could be handy at some point. I think it is still handy, to look at all the forcing moves for tactical vulnerabilities. That docking computer concept hasn't gone away, so I'm looking at forcing stuff for checking vulnerabilities, even though it's completely ludicrous. It's worth seeing a lot of doing like experiments basically. What would happen if knight f7 just takes? What would happen if knight e5 just takes? But you can make a note for when conditions change, like knight c6, knight d5 might become possible. Ed bishop d5 check, that might be dangerous. So these forcing moves are all dangerous. Bishop b6, of course he takes, but there's conditions that can change. Now here, why haven't I got just knight takes e6? Is there a problem with knight e6? I can't see it because I'm covering that diagonal. I can't see a problem. So bishop e6, rook e6. Okay, so I think rook e6 is stronger. Just to okay, I'll have to check if he takes because otherwise I want e7. What do I do? Oh, he's got bishop d4 on the cards. Maybe. So this knight's actually useful for bishop d4 potentially. Alright, if I take here now, don't know what the major's weakness like. So bishop d4. What about d4 to suppress that? My bishop then b6 or something. So h3 here. There's bishop d4. Take queen d4, king h1, knight e3. There's queen f4 if I want to stop bishop d4s. Maybe queen d6 if the queen has to move after. So queen f4. I'll go with queen f4. I like the idea of actually bishop e5. Whoops. Bishop e5 would be nasty. Skewering here. I think I've got to get rid of this knight on g4. So maybe h3, check, takes, king h1, knight e3, rook e1. I'll do that. Before I get in trouble with this knight. Oh, I am in trouble. It's just hit h2, threatening mate, and c5. It's a bit nasty. Okay, it's not completely terminal, but not extremely pleasant either. Losing that bishop. What about queen f2? And if takes, then there's rook f7. Oh, it's bishop d4. Okay. Okay. I hope things are not going pear-shaped here. My king safety doesn't look as hot as before. Bishop takes g4 here. Still pawn up or something. I think bishop, I don't know, it's queen h5, so I think I'll take that. So I don't know, rook f7, is that on the cards? Knight e4 after. If I take rook f7, then knight e4, knight f6, king h8, queen h6 takes rook h7 as mate. So rook f7, knight e4 to f6. I've given a few moves. Okay. Scary. Because I'm just a pawn up, my king's a bit exposed. On the other hand, I control an important f file here. This knight's gonna have to move somewhere, I suppose. If knight f5, maybe I'd just play queen f4, not minding bishop c3 because of f5 being a problem. So, okay. Okay. Alright, let's look at some moves then. Say knight c6. Let's say he does knight c6. Maybe knight e4. Knight e4 be good, kicking the queen. Preparing for this idea of rook f7. and then knight f6. So let's take another move, or let's take that further. Knight c6, knight e4, as well as rook f7, knight e4. Alright, I think knight e4 here anyway, because I like the idea of knight f6. Of course, it has to be prepared now with c4. I get to play c4 and rook f7. That would be pretty cool. With queen e3. Alright. So c4 here, is that any good? It does protect b2. There might be knight f6. Anything stronger? I'm not sure. I think, oh, also queen h4 is threatened. So I think c4, okay. Because I think bishop h3 there, I'm hoping that's not too deadly. Queen h4. So queen h4, bishop h3. Oh, as I lose the bishop. Well, that just, I've got to get rid of this from the firing line, unless I want to sacrifice it. So let's say knight f6. I'll take, bishop takes, queen f4, takes, check, win b7. Alright, so queen f4 here. I could win e7 instead. I think queen f4 here looks pleasant enough. I think this queen. Oh, blimey, rook f8 would have been scary, but takes. The queen's not protected. Blimey, that would have been nasty. On f1, if that queen was protected. Got enough coffee for a moment. Okay. I like the position quite a bit, actually. Quite a bit. Comfortable. So if I take, I've got these centre pawns to push, so I'm happy with that. So I want to play knight f6 check. I think I'll just go with the centre pawn. Oh, bishop g7. Okay, what about almost bishop c8 or knight check or knight d6? Trying to get these pawns. Knight d6. Knight d6 for knight c8. That's interesting. Yes, I like the idea of skewing these two pawns. My bishop with a bishop on c8. I remember Nakamura game we covered once where bishop c8 was played for. I think that was in a blitz actually context. It wasn't normal Fide control. But in place of this bishop c8, it's just skewering two pawns. Okay. If I can just get rid of that knight, go for the opposite coloured bishops, will it be enough? I put my pawns on knight squares. I don't know actually, that could be quite a dangerous decision. I could just put pawns on knight squares here with b3, but then knight c6 and he's on a3. So what about b4? But then there's knight c6 and he's controlling d4. Unless knight c8 there, I think that's sold it on me. b4, it gets knight c controls against b5 c5. Okay, down to 3 minutes. Flag is, what does it say? We've got the old version all of a sudden of blitzing. I'm on the old version again. 3.0. Oh. Alright, another pawn for the taking, but opposite coloured bishops. Can try and grind that out. Get the king in, etc. Oh, I'll do that. 2 pawns should be enough. I'll play d4 to get c5 in, I think. If a5. So bishop c8 will force a5. Get c5 in, get a few pass pawns. Or 2 pass pawns here if I just take. Then a4. So take a4. Try and stop the king from entering the position. Just 2 pass pawns waiting there after takes. Bishop a3, a6. So 2 pawns waiting there for my king. But he's going to move this one forward. So bishop b4. Okay. d6 is not the end of the world. Just yet. I mean, to play d5, I mean. I think there might be some winning chances. Just need to get my king in, get the bishop protecting c4 soon. Unless d6 here takes d7 bishop f6, so I have to protect that. Okay, so get the king in. Maybe over here to h6. So I'll play bishop b5, protecting c4 and a4. Then march the king maybe to f5. To maybe support e6 or king g6. Or go for a5, so king can go over here to a5 as well. Actually, it looks pretty drawish now, actually, with this blockade, which is unfortunate. Unless I pressurize, right, king c7 or king b6. King b7. I'm getting d6. So he plays check here, doesn't he? If I go king g4 and then d6. Right. So if I move the bishop, he takes d6. I'll try and get a g pawn. Or bishop c6 would be better for that than d6. Takes king h4. So bishop c6 here. Not going for that. Let's probably draw that one as check a few things. No, I think I messed that up. This is an absolute draw. Kept the wrong pieces on. That's a good fortress. Is there any winning plan at all? Go to A5, he protects A5. That's a shame. Okay, hold on a sec. Right, that's absolutely convincing. It's a fortress draw for the moment. And I wish you'd stop offering a draw. Isn't there a limit on draw offers? I just want to think about the position for a sec. Nope, he's got a perfect. He's got a perfect blockade. A5 can always be protected by bishop E1. D6. I can offer. Try and offer C4. Let's just try and offer C4 here to move the bishop away. He's not having that. So I'll try and offer C4 again. If he goes back, so I'm offering it here. There's a possibility of G4. So D6 is never on the cards. Let's try this A5 again, just to check that again. So bishop D6, king here. Right. That's interesting. Can I get past A pawn here? With king B6. That stops the king going to C5. Whoa! Whoa! There might be D6 now. That might have been a blunder. He was resigned. Yeah, I'm just getting in D6. So I thought it should be quite difficult to draw that opposite coloured bishops, but there was a bit of pressure. But I just needed to see if there was any possibility. I just needed to test that. So this is getting to be a critical point where A5, there can be a blunder to do with A5, protecting A5, if he protects it the wrong way. Already it's become critical here. It's a lost position, almost. No, bishop C7, bishop C7, and he'd be fine. So he blundered with king B4. So then I'm getting my king to C6. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.